Good morning, welcome back to class. For GSS1, we'll be having the subject Basic Science and Technology and the topic Science Development. You know, it has been often said that science and its related technology is the only key to the development of any nation. You now see why it is now necessary for us to know how technology has greatly facilitated and also advanced our Earth space. So under science development this morning, we'll be looking at space travel. Space travel is our major topic, and the outcome of this class is saying that at the end of the lesson, you should be able to explain the meaning of space travel, list 3 purposes of space travel, and also describe gravitation and weightlessness. Alright, that's a picture of an astronaut displaying on your screen right now. You can see the person's leg is not touching the Earth's surface, neither is the head touching the sky. What will measure an astronaut? An astronaut is a human being like you and I. It can either be a male or a female. It is not limited to just one sex. So anyone, not talking about your sex, can actually be an astronaut. An astronaut makes special travels into the space. When I mention space, space is just a vast region above the Earth's surface. So when someone travels above the Earth's surface now, you say the person is traveling into the space. You might have probably traveled from one part of the country or state to another, either by road, by sea, or by air. But in each of these cases, the means of transport was different. As for the case of air, it is airplane. At the case of road, it is motor car, and in the case of sea, it is boat. But this space travel that we're talking about, is a special travel that also need a special craft. Like you can see the astronaut now, it's putting on a cloth though, but not the normal type of clothes that you and I use at home. Those things that the astronaut is putting on is called space suit. Starting from the head, the back, the clothes, everything is called space suit. So space travel is different from the travel you and I made, because we don't travel into the space. We don't travel above the Earth, but this person is traveling above the Earth's surface. So we call it space travel. Let's quickly look at the meaning of space travel. When we talk about space travel, the meaning is space travel is a journey in which astronaut or instrument enters into a region beyond the Earth's atmosphere. It can also be defined as movement in space. Have you ever wondered you flying in the air? Of course, it sounds funny, but it's not just funny, it is a reality. People actually travels into the space, and people that travels into the space, we call them an astronaut. They have a reason why they travels into the space. And you know, as just a human being that you and I are, without the help of the special craft, that's the spacesuit now, if you jump up, you would definitely return to the ground. But in the case of space travel, it is not like that. Just because there is something they are putting on, that is the spacesuit now, the clothes that help them to maintain their weight even in the air, that they are supposed to suspend back to the ground. So it's a special journey. And an instrument can travel into it, not just throwing stone up, it will definitely falls back. But there are things that will help the instrument or the astronaut now to travel into space. So the journey into a region beyond the Earth's atmosphere is referred to as space traveled. Any movement that you can see in the space is referred to as space travel. Okay, let's look at now the purpose of traveling into space. Why would one just stand up one day and said, I want to travel into the space? I want to go into the space. Why? Why is it like that? Alright. The first reason is because it is done because man wants to understand the universe through the study of our planets, our moon, the sun, and the stars. 2 weeks ago, we talked about the rotation of the earth. How was it possible for us to know that the earth actually rotates? It is the help of these astronauts now that help us to know. They are the one that travels into the space. They study our planet. They are also the one that returns telling us that there is no life in some planets. But in the case of Earth as planet, we have lives in them. They're the one that also travels and actually come back and tell us that we should know that the planet where we are is a good one. We have living things, we have things that can breathe, and every of it like that. So without traveling to the space, one cannot actually understand the universe. Another reason is because man's travel to space just to look at the earth from space in order to understand it better. In the issue of communication, have you ever wondered when you just turn on your phone and you dial a number to someone that is not even living close to you, and before you know, you're hearing the person's voice? Have you wondered how it happens? It is astronaut that travels into the space. It is the help of the space travel now that help us to know, where exactly can we fix our satellite? Where exactly can we put our marks before we can begin to communicate? It is not just the joining together of wire that help us to communicate. It is not so. So space travel have helped us to achieve a whole lot of things. Another thing is that it also helps us to investigate whether there is existence of life outside the earth. I've explained that earlier. So now space travel is very important. It is very, very important. It is important to us because it helps us to know a lot of things. It helps us to know that the planet that where we are, we have human, we have living things in them, and other planet as well does not have it. It is also the help of space travel that help us to know the number of planets that we have, the number of moon, the stars, and also the sun. It is the help of space travel that made us to know all of that. Now let's look at the meaning of gravitation and weightlessness. Gravitation and weightlessness. When we mention gravity, it is the force of attraction between two bodies. Now, you as a human, you are a body, and in science, we refer to anything as body, even object. Now, the ground where you stand is also a body. Now, there is force of attraction between you and the ground. When you jump up, you come down. That is the law of gravity. There is force of attraction between you jumping and also the ground. That is what will now make us to now think, what now happened that astronauts, when they fly into the space, they are not falling back to the earth? Why is it like that? Firstly, we need to know that all objects on earth and in space have mass experience. You've probably have taken your measurement of your weight. You can see maybe we measure like 50 kilogram, 30 kilogram, 10 kilogram, 20 kilogram, and all of that. So now in the space, without the help of those space suits, an astronaut cannot maintain it standing on the earth, on the surface of the earth. It's not going to be possible. Now, there is now a relationship between gravity and weightlessness. Weightlessness is a feeling experienced when the gravitational force is zero. The thing that is supposed to pull you back now, when it is zero, then you call it weightlessness. Another way we can experience this thing we are talking about is when you stand inside an elevator, or you call it a lifting machine. When you stand inside, once the elevator starts to go down, you begin to notice a feeling of loss of weight. For those of us that have not experienced anything like entering into an elevator, Let's use our traveling as example. If you have ever been inside the car traveling, and all of a sudden the car is mounting a hill, the moment the car is going down, you begin to feel something as if you are not having any weight inside your body again. You begin to feel as if you're just like a piece of paper. That thing you feel is what we call weightlessness. So when astronauts are in the space, their gravitational force is 0. So that is what makes them not to be able to fall back to the earth. Alright, let's have a broad summary of this class. Don't forget what I said earlier. Space travel is a special travel. It's different from the one you and I will do. It can only be possible with the help of space suit. Those are the things that the astronaut is going to put on. And when an astronaut is in the is above the Earth's surface, it experiences a gravitational force that is always 0, that helps them not to be able to fall back to the earth, and also helps them to take records of whatsoever they want to know. It is the help of the space travel that made us to know that the planets that we have, a lot of them does not have life in them. Go through the topic again and understand clearly. Our assignment, you are to briefly discuss the dangers of traveling into space. Someone that will just stand up and say, I want to travel into the air. I want to start flying in the air. Discuss the dangers of doing those things. Thank you.